Hello, my name is Michael Salustio. I'm a nutritional consultant and personal fitness trainer and lifestyle coach. And I thought I would share with you today some practical tips or ways that you can increase or boost your immune system. My blog version of this, written blog version of this on the website is how to not get sick. Now, I know that the current COVID-19 virus that's going around right now, the pandemic, is a novel virus, and therefore a lot of people are going to say, well, it doesn't matter what I do, we don't have any immunity to this virus. Well, that may be true, but it's also true that there are a large percentage of people who come in contact with this virus and actually contract the virus, but don't have serious symptoms, and it never gets to be a life-threatening situation. The majority of people, that is the case, as a matter of fact. So what I'm going to try to do is give you some steps you can take that will put you in that category of people, that hopefully will prevent you from from this thing from escalating and becoming a serious situation. So this will be presented in a 3-part video series. Obviously, this is the first of the 3 installments, so be sure to tune in for the next 2 installments following this. So here we go. First one is get your sleep. And I can't emphasize enough how important this is. That's why it's at the top of the list. These, by the way, are listed in order of priority. Get good quality sleep. And the most recent science on this is 7 to 8 hours a day. Now, I know there are a lot of people out there that say, well, I don't need that much. I feel fine on 5 or 6 hours. The fact of the matter is, you're going to, at some point, hit a wall with that. And maybe you've gone years without that much sleep. But it is taking a toll. Just do your own personal inventory. Or do you get sick often? Do you need caffeine in the afternoon to give you a boost? Or do you have a blood sugar drop in the afternoon to give you a boost? These are all signs and symptoms of not getting enough sleep. Do you have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning? So if you're having difficulty sleeping, you suffer from some form of insomnia, I have a whole nother blog on that. And we can reference some resources at the end of this video series on how to get better sleep. But it is crucial to a healthy immune system. It's our body's chance to rest and recover. And if you don't honor that, your body will find a way to rest and recover. In other words, you'll get sick and you'll have no choice but to sleep. Number 2, exercise, but don't overtrain. Okay, so when I say exercise, I mean try to get regular physical activity of moderate to heavy intensity at least 20 minutes a day. It's a good place to start. Your goal is to get up to 45 minutes a day. So approach it from an interval type approach, meaning don't just go all out as hard as you can for that long. You want to alternate periods of high intensity and low intensity. So on a scale of 1 to 10, you want your high intensity periods up around 8 or 9, and your low intensity periods are between a 5 and 6 on a 10 scale. Or you could say between a 5 and 7, depending on how you're tolerating it. And don't overtrain. And what I mean by that is if you feel exhausted long after exercising, then you're probably doing it too much or too hard. A good example of this is people who are, I'll say, addicted to indoor cycling classes or hot yoga, who tend to just feel really wiped out afterwards. It might be too much for you. And if you approach it from that standpoint, that you're going to have a drop in your immune system or a compromised immune system for some time after that exercise bout. So moderation is really important here, and consistency is really important. Number 3, practice daily stress management. There are lots of ways to go about this, but really the point being here is if you do not give your body and your mind time to recover, in other words, just stopping, slowing down, and noticing your breath, or taking your breath, even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes at a time, then you are expending your reserves. You're going to give your adrenal glands a really hard time recovering. And you want those reserves from when stress does happen, you have to respond and react to it. And that is, by the way, what sickness and illness is. You're going to be much better able to fight off bacterial and viral illnesses if you had the reserves to do it. So give yourself some breaks. We're forced into a break right now with this isolation, this COVID-19 stay-at-home order that we are currently experiencing, at least in most states in the country. And it's interesting because I'm watching myself. I'm slowing down a lot. I'm not able to move as quickly because I don't have to be somewhere at a certain hour every hour of the day, or a certain time every hour of the day. And so I do have more time for just sitting, and for me, meditating or getting outside and moving around, and that's my form of stress management. So you got to find one for yourself that works. That could be meditation, as I just mentioned. For some people, that's not very accessible, or it's kind of a daunting task. But really, all meditation is sitting and watching your thoughts and your breath. You don't have to experience some exalted state by meditating, or what they say, clearing your mind, which is nearly impossible for most people. All you have to simply do is take some time to yourself, undisturbed, and watch your breath. And when a thought comes in your head, you acknowledge it, recognize it, and move on to the next one. If you're able to observe your thoughts, then you're meditating. It's when our thoughts take over our mind and they sort of run amok, and we let them stress us out. That's when we get in trouble. Other forms of stress management might be yoga for some people, which is basically meditation with movement. It could be watching your favorite TV show or reading your favorite book. If these things calm and relax you, then they are stress management. And of course, getting enough sleep, going back to that, is another way to de-stress. But for me, it's getting out on the mountain bike, getting outdoors and moving physically, meditating. Those are my daily practices that I try to honor. Number 4, avoid refined sugar and limit overall sugar consumption. So obviously read your labels. You don't want to eat foods with a lot of added sugar or sweeteners in them. And if you're not looking at packaged foods and you're looking at the whole foods you're eating, you got to watch the amount of fruit you're eating, because you can do too much of that, and there's a lot of fructose in fruit, and that's going to add up. And sugar definitely does depress your immune system pretty immediately after consuming it. The science is pretty clear on this. So if you're looking at your labels, looking for added sugar, try to keep it under 10 grams per serving. When it comes to fruit, you want to eat the whole fruit, and I'm going to keep it to about 1 serving a day right now. Try to avoid fruit juices, because those are just really concentrated fructose without the fiber to slow down the assimilation of that in your body. And that's going to cause blood sugar spikes, and those drops are going to produce, insulin's produced from that, and that's going to depress your immune system if you keep on that roller coaster all day long. 5 is vitamin D. So vitamin D is a crucial nutrient for immunity, as well as being an essential nutrient for your endocrine system, or I should say the 36 organs in your body that produce hormones, because vitamin D really is sort of a hormone precursor. So the most efficient source of vitamin D is going to be the sun. But the fact of the matter is, in this part of the world, in this hemisphere, we're not going to get enough vitamin D, no matter how hard we try, most months of the year. So it's a good idea to supplement with vitamin D. So if you're going to supplement with vitamin D, you want to use a fat-soluble form of that. So that would be an emulsified form. I use one from Biotics Research, which is vitamin D drops. It's an emulsified liquid. Just drop it on my tongue in the morning, and I take 4,000 IUs a day as a maintenance dose. But if you're just starting out with this, you want to do about 10,000 IUs a day for the first 30 days, and then you back off to about 4,000 to 5,000 a day. I do recommend getting your blood tested for vitamin D levels a couple times a year, just to see what your body is taking up. And the test for that would be the 25-OH or hydroxy form of D. Because it's a fat-soluble nutrient, you can get too much of it, so the levels you're looking for in your blood are going to be in the range of 40 to 60 on the blood levels of vitamin D. So that's all for this installment. Tune in for the second installment while I go over the next 5 tips. And thanks a lot. Have a great day. Stay safe.